Welcome, seekers and Sagittarius souls, to Zodiac Talks Tarot, where ancient esoteric wisdom meets real-world clarity and where we're not afraid to tell you the truth, even if it knocks you flat on your cosmic face. This week's reading is, quite frankly, a karmic smackdown in the best way possible. For the ever-bold, ever-curious Sagittarius, this is not just another tarot message, it's a spiritual intervention dressed up as a wake-up call, and someone, not naming names, but you know who you are, is about to get served a hot slice of reality with a side of "I told you so." Now, Bruna wisely opens the reading with a gentle disclaimer: this message is general, intuitive, and timeless. In other words, if it doesn't fit your current situation, don't force it. Hand it off to the universe. That message might be custom ordered for another one of the chosen ones still stuck in an emotional group project they didn't sign up for. And remember, love doesn't live in your sun sign, it thrives in your Venus. If you're only looking at your sun, you're basically reading the nutrition label and skipping the ingredients list. Now let's get into the heart of the matter. The first cards thrown down were like the opening credits of a cosmic soap opera. 5 of Swords. Classic ego chess. Someone in your orbit has been playing mind games like they're competing in the finals of emotional manipulation Olympics. The Ace of Swords follows because, naturally, the truth refuses to stay buried. Picture it, you're sipping your celestial tea, when suddenly bam, clarity hits you like a frying pan to the third eye. Then we've got the 7 of Cups and 2 of Pentacles. Translation: someone's been juggling options like a stoned barista during Mercury retrograde. Confusion, indecision, maybe a side chick or 3. Finally, the King of Wands struts in, only to be exposed by the Tower. This is someone who walks in like they own the room but can't commit to a dinner reservation. But here's the kicker: this kind of behavior doesn't fool a Sagittarius for long, especially not the chosen ones rising in their year of triumph 2025. The illusion crumbles, the mask drops, and all that's left is your own blazing clarity. And honestly, that's the win. Because when Sagittarius wakes up, the game is already over. Now, let's talk about what's been going on behind the scenes, the stuff you felt in your gut but maybe didn't want to admit out loud. This part of the reading unveils what I like to call the illusion show. We've got the Knight of Wands making his usual grand entrance, passionate, magnetic, a little too good with words, and not far behind him, the High Priestess, holding back the truth like it's classified government intel. Add in the 7 of Swords and, well, now we've got ourselves a full-blown emotional heist. This isn't just someone who's a little mysterious. This is someone who knows exactly how much to reveal and how much to withhold, and they do it with a smile. Charming? Absolutely. Honest? Not even close. If you're wondering whether they had a second phone, the answer is yes, or at least a few too many encrypted chats. As a Sagittarius, the philosopher of the Zodiac, you wanted to believe. You gave them the benefit of the doubt, hoping there was depth behind the mystery. But belief without truth is just delusion in a designer outfit, and red flags don't become green just because you've got good intentions. And then comes the crash. The Tower card. That iconic, cosmic demolition that shows up when you've been living in a house of cards and didn't notice the wind picking up. Suddenly it hits you: you weren't in love with the person, you were in love with their potential. But potential doesn't pay emotional rent. Reality sets in: you were drafted into a love triangle you didn't even audition for. And here's a little wisdom, seasoned with humor and truth: just because someone makes your heart race doesn't mean they're your soulmate. Sometimes they're just your karmic lesson wrapped in good cologne and unresolved trauma. Now here's where the emotional bill comes due. The psychological fallout in this reading hits hard because when Sagittarius loves, they love with vision. You didn't just see the person, you saw their higher self, their potential, the version of them that maybe only existed in the realms of what if. But let's face it, the 9 of Swords and 7 of Pentacles together tell a brutally honest story of burnout. You were investing energy, time, and hope into someone who barely knew how to hold space for their own reflection, let alone your heart. You watered a cactus thinking it would bloom like a rose, and now you're wondering why you're emotionally dehydrated. The 4 of Cups kicks in next, and that's when it hits dash what in the cosmic chaos did I get myself into? And just in case you needed one last twist of the dagger, in walks the 3 of Cups, the third party, the triangle, the not-so-secret side plot you didn't sign up for. But here's the higher truth, as one of the chosen ones, this wasn't punishment. It was awakening. You didn't fail, you graduated. Experience is just a fancy word for surviving what tried to break you. Now, let's talk about the real test, your karmic final exam, if you will. The 10 of Swords brings the betrayal, the exhaustion, the dramatic movie scene size. But what follows is far more important. The 7 of Wands and Page of Wands show you taking your power back, guarding your peace, and very sag-like scouting the next horizon. Judgment and 6 of Wands are your spiritual glow-up. This isn't just a breakup, it's a breakthrough. You're not just walking away, you're rising. And finally, the Queen of Cups reminds you of something sacred. Your heart is not a playground, and your love is not a free trial. Emotional depth is your gift, don't hand it to people who can't even swim. And finally, we reach the moment of clarity, the spiritual sunrise after a long, confusing night. When the sun meets the Empress, something powerful happens. It's not just a card combination, it's a cosmic revelation. That inner voice you've been shushing? The one whispering, "You deserve better?" It finally gets a microphone. This is where the year of triumph 2025 begins to show itself in full color. You realize you weren't asking for too much, you were just asking the wrong person. Let's be honest, they weren't overwhelmed by your light, they were underqualified to stand in it. Sagittarius, you are ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion and truth. When you finally stop shrinking to fit someone else's comfort zone, your divine fire roars back to life, and it's blinding in the best way. This is your glow up, your rise, your no more crumbs, I want the whole damn cake moment. You walk away not bitter, but brighter. You don't just leave the room, you elevate from it. But of course, right before the breakthrough, there's one final test, the temptation to slip back into old patterns disguised as passion. Enter the devil. This isn't the Halloween kind of devil, it's the one that wears your favorite cologne and texts at midnight like nothing ever happened. It's that intense chemistry that burns hot but leaves you emotionally malnourished. Let's call it what it is, codependency with good lighting. But here's the thing, after all the shadow work, late night journaling, and "I deserve more" affirmations, you finally see it. You've done enough spiritual heavy lifting to recognize that desire without respect is just spiritual sabotage. And you're not here for sabotage. You're here for sacred union, alignment, and joy. So you cut the cord, light the incense, and say goodbye with love and maybe a little sass. Because healing doesn't mean silence. Sometimes, it just means smiling as you close the door, and throw away the spare key. And so we arrive at the final note, the closing breath of this reading, and honestly, it's not about the cards anymore. Sure, we've got powerful astrological energies swirling around you: Scorpio's intensity, Cancer's emotional depth, Aries' fire, Leo's pride, and Capricorn's no-nonsense drive. But let's be clear, none of them outshine you, Sagittarius. The real magic in this reading isn't just in the planetary placements, it's in you, the seeker, the truth chaser, the wild-hearted wanderer who dares to believe that life can still surprise them. As one of the chosen ones, you're not just being nudged, you're being summoned to reclaim your light, cut the karmic nonsense, and fully rise into the year of triumph 2025. And rise you will. With every truth you face, with every red flag you stop romanticizing, you're stepping further into your power. But don't just survive, thrive. Dance a little more. Say yes to something spontaneous. Order dessert first. You didn't come here to play small. You came to live, learn, laugh, and yes, sometimes cry, but always, always grow. If this reading lit something up inside you, or made you say ouch in the best way, go ahead, like the video, drop a comment about what resonated most, and subscribe to Zodiac Talks Tarot so you never miss a message from the stars. This is your space for guidance, real talk, and a little cosmic humor when you need it most. Until next time, keep that arrow aimed high and that heart wide open, because the truth you've been searching for, it was inside you all along.